What's happening, sports fans? How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Good day to you. And Big 12 media days are over, and Coach Prime was the center of attention as usual, and he brought up two words: salary cap. We're going to talk about that in this segment. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that follow button. If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channels, those channels are Kendrick Sports Hustle as well as TFG Sports Media. Again, Coach Prime was in front of the microphone for the media at Big 12 Media Days this past week. Some reporters were asking, how is his health? You say, I'm doing just fine. Well, there have been reports that Coach Prime had been away from his Colorado Buffalo team the past month or so, dealing with some health issues back at home, but he said all is well. But he wanted to talk about something that he thinks needs to be implemented now that this NIL is here to stay and it has expanded. He said that maybe colleges, the NCAA, should look into these colleges and universities having a salary cap. Take a listen to what Coach Prime had to say.
I wish it was a cap. You know, like the top of the line player makes this, and if you're not that type of guy, you know you're not going to make that. That's what the NFL does. So the problem is you got a guy that's not that darn good, but he could go to another school and they give him $500,000, and you can't compete with that. That don't make sense. And you're talking about equality. Not equality, like equal, I guess so, equality. And all you have to do is look at the playoffs and see what those teams spent. And you understand darn near why they're in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. It's kind of hard to compete with somebody who's giving $25, $30 million to a darn freshman class.
Right.
It's crazy. We're not complaining because all these coaches up here can coach their butts off and give them the right opportunity with the right players and play here and there, you'll be there. But it's what's going on right now don't make sense. And we want to say stuff, but we're trying to be professional. But you're going to see the same teams darn near at the end and with somebody who sneaks up in there. But the teams that pay
now, Division I schools can directly pay student athletes now after that court made that decision back in June of 2025. Now, schools can offer NIL compensation as part of their athletic revenue sharing with a cap of $20.5 million per school annually. Now, the NIL payments will come straight from the athletic department's revenue, not NIL collectives that we have been hearing about. So no longer will the collectives have to pay these student athletes. It comes directly from a school's athletic revenue. Now, to talk about Coach Prime and the salary cap, my thoughts on it. I think you kind of have a salary cap, but not in the NFL model per se. Now, again, schools, Division I schools can pay their student athletes up to $20.5 million per school annually. Now, those schools and universities that have a bigger athletic revenue budget, as we know, the Texas Longhorns, the Alabamas, the Michigans, they can probably pay up to that amount. Those schools that athletic revenue isn't as much, then they can only give a smaller amount. So, yes, what Coach Prime said is probably correct. You're probably going to see a lot of the bigger schools be able to get a lot of the 4-stars and 5-stars recruits because they got deeper pockets because of their athletic revenue. But I will differ on this part of what he said about the college football playoffs. You know, we've seen this in professional sports, especially the Yankees who got big monies with no salary cap. Yeah, you can go buy all these stars and get all the best stars and athletes and pay them these astronomical salaries, but that don't necessarily mean that that's going to bring you a championship. We've seen that in pro basketball as well. Just because your payroll and you can pay these stars all this money, that doesn't necessarily bring a championship. And again, as the college football playoff model, I get it. The Texas and the Alabamas, the Georgias and the LSUs and the Texas A&Ms, I get it. The Michigans and all them, they got the more money, but that doesn't necessarily, Ohio State's, just to name a few, defending national champ, they can spend probably more money because they got a bigger revenue, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be successful and win a national championship. It still depends on, your athletes. Obviously, you want to get the best athletes, but it also is a team game. So I get what Coach Prime is saying. Will a salary cap hurt or help the college game at the NIL level? I don't know if it would help it, but it may not hurt it either. I still don't think that's gonna shrink the gap between the haves and the have-nots. I think the haves are still going to be getting more of the haves than the have-nots when it comes to 4-star and 5-star recruits, because they can give them a little bit more bread. That's just the way it is. In my opinion, I'd like to know yours. Talk to me in the comments. Let me know what you think. Should a salary cap be implemented in Division I college sports because of the NIL? I'm Kendrick, the sports guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.